Hey everybody, we are just waiting for Amir and Celeste, I believe.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Perfect. All right. Do we have everyone? Perfect. No, Celeste on. Okay. Why don't we get started? And I just sent a message over to our other commissioner that isn't here just yet. So thank you all for joining the ANC 1C meeting for January. It's a new term, and we have 6 new commissioners joining us. So I want to introduce my new fellow commissioners and everyone else, including Commissioner Bowles and myself that has stayed. So why don't we start on one end of it with Commissioner Clem, 1C08, and then work our way down.
Hello, my name is Fiona Clem. I'm in 1C08, that's southeast corner of Adams Morgan.
Hi there, my name is Japer Bowles. I'm the commissioner for 1C07, which is the east side of 18th Street and the west side of the Reed Cook Neighborhood Assist.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Hello, I'm Ben Boots. I'm 1C06, which is from Panorama North, just a little past Columbia and 16th.
Thanks, Commissioner Boots. Love the background there.
Hi, everyone. I'm Zach Gold, Commissioner for 1C05. That's the northeast corner of the neighborhood, Argonne Place, Harvard Street, that area.
I'm Megan Faulkner, 1C04, the northwest corner of the neighborhood, including Walter Pierce Park.
Hi, I'm Peter Wood. Looks like I know a lot of the people already on the call, but for those who don't know, 1C3, right in the middle of Evans Morgan, Biltmore, Wyoming, 18th to 19th.
And our commissioner for 1C02 is not quite here yet. So I'm Amir Irani, commissioner for 1C01. That's the southwest corner of Adams Morgan. So
Amir, I wanted to say hi too because I'm not meeting people in public, and then I'm going to turn my camera off and disappear. But I take the minutes, so in case you wondered who the mysterious person was asking for your picture for the website, it's me. I'm going to turn my camera off and go back to watching the news. No, I'm going to take the minutes. Bye.
Thanks, Mary. So, let's get right through these organizational matters. So the first item to get through is to elect chair, Commissioner. So do I have any nominations for the chairmanship?
Yes, I would like to make a nomination.
Commissioner Bowles?
Yes, I would like to nominate Commissioner Amir Irani to serve as chair. I think you did a great job last year, and I think that you will lead us into this new year and new term well. So I would hope that the other commissioners would approve with unanimous consent on this.
Second.
Second.
Why? All right. Well, thank you, commissioners. So call to a vote. All those in favor of, well, are there any other nominations? Okay. Hearing none, call to a vote. All those in favor of having myself, Mayor Ronnie, as chair, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? All right.
Congratulations.
Why, thank you, Commissioner Bowles. Thank you for the kind words. Moving to the next item on the agenda, there is, I'd like to nominate for the position of vice chair. I'd like to nominate Zach Gold for the position of secretary, Commissioner Fiona Clem for treasurer, Commissioner Megan Faulkner, and for AMPID representative, Commissioner Peter Wood. Along with that, I also propose a slate of committees, Commissioner Japer Bowles as chair of ABC and Public Safety Committee, myself and Commissioner Clem as a member, Commissioner Zach Gold as chair of the Planning, Zoning, and Transportation Committee, with myself and Commissioner Faulkner as a member, and Commissioner Celeste Carano as Public Services and the Environment Committee chair, with Commissioner Peter Wood and Commissioner Ben Boots as members. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles. Any discussion or anything everybody wants to talk about that slate, or perhaps propose another slate?
I would like to say that sounds great. and that we did a good job collaborating in advance for what we would like, just to be transparent with the public.
Thank you, Commissioner Wood. So hearing no other discussion, I'll call to a vote. All those in favor of the officers as I've indicated and the committee assignments as I've said, please indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Okay. That looks like Celeste, did you participate in that vote? Just for the record, is that 8-0?
I did not, since I've just joined.
Okay. So that's 7-0. And moving on to the officers' reports. So we'll start with the chair announcements. I do want to say two things. One, please sign up for location-specific text and email alerts from HCMA for public safety. These text and email alerts. If you go to alertdc.dc.gov, you'll get targeted alerts that are specific to where you are, and in case there is an emergency wherever you are, which today's events can show just how important that is to have when you have terrorists taking over our Capitol building. So, but this also has other more pedestrian things like transportation incidents and utility outages and things like that. So it's helpful in our everyday lives. So please sign up at alertdc.dc.gov. And that's all I have for the chair report. And I hope we have a good year together, a good term together. It's pretty much a new commission other than Commissioner Bowles and myself. So I'm looking forward to working with all of you. So moving on to the secretary's report.
I don't have a report today, but I also did want to share my contact information, and I'll put it in the chat. I have an odd email from the ANC group. So my email is 1co8.anc@dc.gov. So it's an odd one, but I look forward to serving you as a commissioner as well as a secretary. Thank you.
Thank you. And the treasurer's report, Treasurer Faulkner.
I do not have anything to report yet. I don't believe, and I don't know if Commissioner Bowles, as the outgoing treasurer, has information to share.
I do. And do you want me to say that now?
Please, yeah.
Okay, so we have $22,504.72 in the account. The December expenditures were Mary, as well as a $2,000 grant. We will be filing a quarterly financial report at the next meeting, and I am very excited to pass on the book to Megan, and I will ensure that it is in better shape than it was given to me. And so yay, passage of that. So thank you so much, Megan, for taking this on. And that is it in terms of treasurer stuff.
Great. Thank you, Commissioner Bowles and Commissioner Faulkner. So going to commissioner announcements. And if you are the chair of a committee, please give an overview of your committee meeting agenda as well as the day time of when your committee is meeting. So let's start from 1C08. Again, Commissioner Clem.
I do not have any announcements this evening. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles.
Okay, so I do have quite a few announcements. I'll start with the ABC committee. First, we will be inviting the applicant for air to attend our committee meeting. And that will be this time, 7 o'clock next week. So 1/13, January 13th. And then we'll also have a report from MPD 3D. So that's all I have in regards to ABC meetings at the moment. If there's any folks or placards that that happen, we will discuss that in the meantime. But I don't think we're good on timeline for everything. In terms of personal commission stuff, Commissioner Wood, as well as Commissioner Faulkner, and I, as well as the Reed Cook Neighborhood Association, spontaneously are hosting a community cleanup on Sundays. So please come and join us. We have the rakes, the trash bags, the gloves and stuff. I can presume that there'll be MAGA stuff around. If not, there's still trash around. So it should be one of the better looking days of the week. Still low 40s, so still bundle up. But I really enjoy doing neighborhood cleanups, and I know other folks do too. And it's a good way to get out of the house. The next thing I wanted to say is that in addition to the neighborhood cleanup, I'll be doing a 311 sweep. There's just a ton of illegal dumping that's happening, including Christmas trees. And I'm sure someone from the mayor's office will talk more in depthly about that. But Christmas tree or holiday tree pickup starts January 11th and ends February 5th. And there is a site that I will share, but it's very in-depth and it's super easy to learn more. It's the mayor did a press release on it. So, but you can 311 it. I'll be 311ing. Last year, we did a long 311 list of it, and it got a lot of attention and a lot of the trees were picked up. So I will presumably do something similar this year. I also wanted to beat RCNA and the vice president of RC, or the treasurer of RCNA, to the punch and say that the RCNA COVID Relief Fund is still up and going. So please read cook-dc.org RCNA Relief Fund. You can apply for the $300 micro grant as well as donate to the micro grant. I know they've at least dispensed over $20,000, including $4,000 from a grant that we gave them. So they've been doing really, really good work, and it's really great to have money invested back into the neighborhood based off of neighbors helping neighbors. The last thing that I have is I am now a member of the DC State Committee, Democratic State Committee, and they're having a meeting, a general body meeting on Thursday. I'll put the website meeting link in, but essentially a way to stay involved with the Democratic Party. And this week, or this month, they'll be having a ranked choice vote educational event. So if you love ranked choice vote, want to be more involved in the Democratic Party, please feel free to join that. After that, that is all. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles. So let's keep going down the list to 1C06, Commissioner Boots.
Thank you very much. I don't have any announcements other than just I'm very excited. This is with my first term. I'm excited to work with everyone. I'm excited to learn and meet more people in the neighborhood, and looking forward to it. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Gold.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, for your opening remarks. I too am looking forward to working with all of my new ANC colleagues. As someone who swore an oath to support and defend the US Constitution just days ago, what we saw today at the US Capitol is a low point in our democracy. I, like many of you, have seen reports that some of these violent extremists are staying in our neighborhood. They have come to DC looking for a fight. Please don't give it to them. I urge everyone in Adams Morgan to stay safe and stay inside tonight per the mayor's orders. The Planning, Zoning, and Transportation Committee last month recommended 2 items to the full ANC, which will be considered later in today's meeting. The committee recommended the ANC adopt a resolution on SunTrust Plaza litigation and recommended that the ANC send a letter to the Historic Preservation Review Board in support of designs for a new commissary kitchen at 2412 18th Street R Northwest. The next PZT committee meeting will take place virtually at 7 p.m. on Wednesday, January 20th. The current agenda for that meeting includes consideration of a resolution on the study of protected bicycle lanes on Columbia Road and discussion of potential cuts to WMATA service. Please check out our website for how to access the meeting and for any updates on the agenda. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Gold. Commissioner Wood.
Oh,
I'm sorry, Commissioner Faulkner.
No problem. I don't have anything specific to add beyond just obviously what we saw today was really upsetting to have white supremacists coming to our city and really getting to really stage an insurrection on the Capitol. And I know that the commission last year passed some resolutions after some of the police action we saw in June. And I just look forward to working with folks around, accountability for what's going on in our city and the way that it's being handled, because I know it's very scary for a lot of us. And I would encourage everyone to stay safe and, look out for your neighbors.
Thank you, Commissioner Faulkner. Well said. Commissioner Wood.
Yeah, so getting to the point where we're all repeating each other, but yeah, it's nice to start and I see everyone, albeit virtually. There was a question in the chat, and just kind of to repeat a bit about white supremacists openly walking around, also in a pandemic without masks in the neighborhood. In terms of collaboration with local businesses, I don't think we have enough information to make any kind of declarative statements, but as the bid representative, that's something that's obviously going to always be on my mind. The most media covered, if that's a word, type of discrimination is this kind of MAGA-ism, if we call it, but there's also other types which often get less recognition, but also deserve the same sort of stern stomping out. So that's something that is always on our minds. And also, kind of be a little shift to happier tones. Cleanup Sunday, hopefully not the first or last. Well, I guess it will be the first, but if we back up a few months, it wasn't in terms of cleaning up parks and public spaces. So very good ways that we'll be hopefully organizing all the time, because I've spoken to a lot of people who are eager to be in part of ANC stuff, but they don't want to talk about planned unit development legalities. So I think it's good, and we've talked about this as commissioners, looking for ways to make it so we have a community that's not solely based on meetings, which are important, but just a fragment of what it means to build a community. Thanks again.
Thank you, Commissioner Wood. Commissioner Corona.
Thank you, and first, apologies for my lateness. It has been a bit of a day, as it has been for all of us. First, the next PSE meeting will be the 27th at 7 p.m. meeting virtually. On the agenda at the moment is an overview of the grant timeline and process for this year. And so we'll be adding to that agenda as well over the next week or so. And if you are in my SMD and you have not received an email invitation to be on my newsletter and you would like to be, please feel free to send me an email. I'll add it in the chat right now, and I would love to add you to the list. That's it.
Great. Okay, let's move on to public announcements. We'll start with Ali Bobak from Councilmember Nadeau's office.
Hello, can you hear me?
We sure can.
Hi, commissioners. I'm really excited to see all of you, see some old faces and some new faces. Welcome to ANC 1C. I look forward to assisting all of you and the residents of your SMDs in the best ways that I can. My name is Ali Bobak. I am Councilmember Nadeau's Constituent Services Coordinator. My direct number is 202-531-5186, and I'll post it. And my email is abobak@dccouncil.us. No big updates. I think we're all overwhelmed from the day. I'll just highlight that yesterday, Councilmember Nadeau did post a statement on this week's demonstrations in DC that you can find on her website, brianneknadeau.com. And I'll also mention, if you do go to brianneknadeau.com, people might want to sign up for the newsletter. We'll be sending updates around, for example, the COVID vaccine and other important updates through our newsletter list. So again, my direct number is 202-531-5186, and my email is abobak@dccouncil.us. Again, really looking forward to working with the familiar faces and with the new commissioners. Congratulations all.
Thanks, Allie. Kristen Barden.
Hi, everyone. Welcome back, and welcome to the new commissioners. Happy New Year to everybody who I haven't seen yet this year. And thank you all for all of your support of our holiday activities. It was a lot of fun. I think the gift boxes were a big hit, and we have put them into storage. Everything should be cleaned up now. I think the last pieces were collected yesterday. And we'll bring them back out next year, pending, the sky doesn't fall. And a couple of things coming up this winter. We're going to be doing the Valentine's Day decorating contest again. And that was a lot of fun. The businesses really, there was over 25 businesses that participated last year. There will be some cash prizes to the winners again. And we're going to need a group of people to judge those as well. So you might, we'd love to have an ANC commissioner be one of the judges. I think it was Amir last year, but you might talk amongst yourselves and see who would like to do that. I think the judging will take place on Thursday, February 12th or 11th. I think Valentine's Day is a Sunday this year. More to come on that. We're going to put an announcement out about it tomorrow. We were going to do it this afternoon, but then of course, the conditions that on the Capitol overtook everything. So, and then we're also going to be doing our date nights promotion in February and maybe into March. It'll be a little bit different than it was last year, but it will still be promoting, our local Adams Morgan businesses and encouraging people to, think about Adams Morgan as a place to go on a date, and putting together some packages with, dinner to go and flowers and things like that. So keep an eye out for that. If you don't already get our newsletter, we also posted on the Adams Morgan IO group, but if you want to sign up for it directly, we usually send it out on Wednesday afternoons. During the height of the pandemic, we were sending it every day because there was so much information to get out to people. But we've scaled it back to just weekly, and it usually goes out on Wednesdays. You can sign up for it on our website, which is admodc.org. I can put that in the chat as well. And welcome to Peter Wood, who I guess is now going to be the rep to the bid. So that's great. Peter will add you to our distribution list for our upcoming board meetings. The next one is not until February. So, but I'll make sure to coordinate with you and make sure you know about that. So I think that's it. If there's any questions, please let me know. Thanks.
Thank you, Kristen. Any other public announcements? You can, yeah, a couple more hands up. Cynthia from DDOT. Cynthia, go ahead.
Hi, everyone. Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect. Well, good evening, everyone. Hi, ANC1C. I know I've worked with you all in the past in my previous role, but as you stated, my name is Cynthia Tercios. I'm the new Ward 1 Community Engagement Specialist at DDOT, and I'm just happy to continue serving Ward 1. I just wanted to take this time to virtually introduce myself to the new commissioners and to the commissioners I've worked with before. So glad to continue working with you all, and feel free to email me with any DDoT concerns you have, as I am the point of contact for Ward 1. My email address is Cynthia, CYNTHIA, .Tercios, TURCIOS, and the number 1. So that's Cynthia.Tercios1 at dc.gov. If you had my previous email address, I no longer have access to that. So just make sure that the 1 is at the end of my last name. There was some issues that I wasn't receiving those emails before, but I just want to make sure that I'm able to help as soon as possible. And yeah, I'm glad to be working with everyone.
Thank you, Cynthia. Good to work with you in many different roles. So I hope things go well at DDOT, and happy to continue working with you in that capacity. Mr. Anthony Moore from the Mayor's Office of Community Relations.
Thank you, Commissioner. Good evening, Commissioner. Newly elected commissioners and re-elected commissioners. Congratulations, and I look forward to working with you. My name is Anthony Moore, Ward 1 Mocha. My contact information is 202-285-9238. My email address is anthony.moore@dc.gov. I would like to amplify to continue our neighbors and our ANC commissioners to amplify the need to get tested in the District of Columbia. So amplify need test, getatest.com. Please continue to push that in your SMDs. So we'd like to get all our district residents tested. Leaf season collection ends January the 30th. So we want to make sure that all the leaves are properly picked up by DPW in a timely manner. If you have some excessive bags of your leaf collection, please give me a call so we can expedite some of those services. If there are busted bags or impeding any type of parking spaces or anything like that for handicap or senior citizens in your SMD, please give me a call so those things can be quickly resolved. DC Health has established a new schedule for COVID testing. It was rescheduled because of the activities downtown today, and it might be rescheduled tomorrow for the activities downtown today. I mean, downtown with the protests. So we want to give you more information regarding that. Mayor Bowser encourages all Washingtonians to get tested and take advantage of the first vaccine that comes available. If you want more information on that, go to vaccinate.dc.gov so you can receive more information and register for the first line of vaccination. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call or email me at anthony.moore@dc.gov. Thank you.
Sorry, Anthony, can I just ask a quick question?
Yes.
So there seems to be some confusion on whether everyone can sign up on the vaccines.dc.gov or whatever the website is, or if right now you just want healthcare workers. And I've seen, once the URL was out, it was all over the internet and people were saying, oh, go sign up, go sign up. And then the mayor put out statements saying, only sign up if you are, cleared to get vaccinated right now. So what is the current guidance on this? What should we be telling our constituents?
Well, I will give further guidance on that, but I know that the first rollout of the vaccination were to healthcare workers. And I think the second rollout, I will make sure this is correct, but to the senior population. But I think the registration was fixed for all DC residents. I will double check on that and I will follow up with you.
Thank you.
Very quick comment. I would be remiss not to say. So I don't think you've been looped in the emails. I apologize if you have, Anthony, but Belmont from 18th to Columbia leaves never get picked up. I know Allie is aware of this, but just want to make sure it's out there.
I want to reiterate, when we have big time protests, like we have in the last couple of days or in the last couple of months, DPW use some of their larger vehicles to block protest routes and to streamline traffic in different directions. So sometimes that might affect the larger scales of collection of illegal dumping. But I definitely will highlight that with our DPW liaison to make sure that we try to take a look into 18th Street in the collection process.
No, this was the regular sweeping of all the leaves. Just that one little block got missed. Not sure why.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Getting the alerts.
It's okay.
Can you?
I'll email you. I'll loop you into the emails.
Yes, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Anthony. So moving on to a short presentation from the Office of Paid Family Leave. Do we have anyone from the Office of Paid Family Leave on the line? Bria Walker. Okay, Michael Henderson. Let's get you promoted to panelist. Okay, Michael, are you there?
Yes, good evening.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we know that there's been a lot of questions about paid family leave benefits for district workers. So thanks for giving this short presentation on that.
Absolutely. Is it all right if I share my screen?
Please do.
Okay. Can you all see the presentation?
Yes.
All right. So again, thank you all, commissioners, as well as everyone else in attendance for the opportunity to speak to you today. My name is Michael Henderson. I'm a program analyst with the Office of Paid Family Leave, one of the district's newest benefit programs for district workers. I'm going to give you a brief overview of our implementation efforts and some of the key features of our program as it relates to DC residents and workers. So our program has three key components. So this is bringing paid family leave or paid family leave benefits to three categories of leave types. So previously in the district, you did not have the ability to take leave to provide care to a newborn child or to bond with that child, to take care of a family member that had a serious health condition, or to take care of your own serious health condition. So you see here on your screen that these three categories of leave each have its own pool of benefits or allotment of leave that's available. So you have up to 8 weeks to bond with a newborn child or a child that's been placed in your home. You have up to 6 weeks to care for a family member who has a serious health condition, and up to 2 weeks to take care of your own personal serious health condition. However, I do want to note that regardless of the number of leave events that you have, the different types of leave that you have, you cannot receive more than 8 total weeks of benefits in any given year. Now, this program also includes a component for the employers in the district. So this program is funded by taxes that are paid by employers in DC. And we're currently using the same tax system that these employers also use for the district's unemployment compensation program. So generally speaking, employers don't have to do anything differently than they have in the past. And we've been collecting taxes already now for over a year as we began the initial tax collection for this program back in July of 2019. But you see here on your screen that there's 4 primary responsibilities for employers with regards to our program. There's registration, the tax payments, notice requirements, and record keeping. Again, a lot of these are already familiar to employers because they are already doing these same things for the Office of Unemployment Compensation. One thing I do want to highlight here is that there is a notification requirement for employers. So at least once a year, also when they're hiring new employees or any time that an employee lets them know that they may need to use one of our leave types, that employer is responsible for providing a notice or a poster or a flyer to that employee that gives them some high-level details about our program and some instructions about how to apply. So again, this is a very important component to our program that is required by the district's law. We want to make sure that the awareness of the program is as widespread as possible. This program also does include the ability for self-employed individuals to opt in and pay the tax on behalf of themselves in order to receive benefits. In many benefit programs, self-employed individuals are not included as eligible because their wages are not considered taxable. For example, in the case of unemployment insurance. Although, and during the pandemic, there have been some expansions of the unemployment laws to allow for individuals to get benefits in those cases. So I did want to provide a couple examples of how our benefit works. So again, it is based on an average weekly wage, very similar to the unemployment insurance program. And you can see the types of benefits that you might receive, because we do not provide a 100% wage replacement while you're receiving the benefits. So for example, in this case where you have an individual who's earning about $20 an hour, it's going to break down to about $800 of an average weekly wage. So we provide up to 90% of a wage replacement. So in this case, this individual would get about $720 per week for their benefits. In the case where an individual earned a little bit more, say about $60,000, their average weekly wage would break down to about $1,150. Now, again, it is a scale, so you don't always get 90%. The higher you earn, the less you will get in terms of wage replacement. This program was kind of structured and built to provide a higher wage replacement for lower earners. So in this case, it breaks down to about $935. And then we're looking at the higher scale of an individual who makes about $100,000 a year. It's going to break down to about $1,900 of an average weekly wage. But you see, our program also has a benefit cap. So you can only receive $1,000 per week at the maximum. For this particular individual, that would only be about a 50% wage replacement. So we do want to, again, reiterate that this program has a progressive scale, but it is primarily built to provide a larger benefit to individuals that are receiving some lower earnings. And just a high-level look at how the program works. After an individual has a qualifying event, whether it be parental, family, or medical, they're able to submit a claim. We have a website or a portal where you can log in or even just go and register. And then once you submit your claim, there's a 7-day waiting period. So there's the first week or so, you are not able to receive benefits, but this also allows for both our agency to process the claim, but also for you, the individual, some time to gather some documentation that you may need before you actually submit as well. So we're required by law to process and provide an initial determination on your claim within 10 business days. And then once that happens, then you'll be receiving your benefit payments on a bi-weekly schedule. One thing I also want to point out, our benefits are available in 2 schedules or 2 formats. We have both continuous or full-time leave, and then also intermittent or part-time leave. We know that in some cases you may not want to take a full week off for a particular event. So you do have the ability to take increments of at least 1 day at a time. It is important to remind everyone that on any day that you're receiving benefits, you cannot perform any work. So you have to be fully on leave. And that's why we offer the ability to have the flexibility for you to have intermittent or part-time leave schedules as well. And then one additional final note, we often like to talk about how this program relates to some of the other leave laws in the district. Some of you may be familiar with the Accrued Sick and Safe Leave Act. This is your paid sick days. This is going to be for more routine or less serious health conditions. And this is a benefit that's typically just provided directly by your employer. Most businesses have some kind of paid time off or sick time program built in. The district does require a certain number of days, while employers may provide more leave than is required under this law. But at least 3 to 7 days must be provided, but that's going to be dependent upon the size of that particular business or employer. Again, this is for the individuals depending on the size of that business, and then you have to accrue or work to earn and build up those hours. And in the middle of the chart, you see the Family Medical Leave Act, or FMLA and DC FMLA. Now, this is job protected unpaid leave And this is also kind of controlled and determined by your employer. And you have up to 12 or 16 weeks, depending on whether or not it's the district or the federal program. And this is also kind of structured around the size of the employer. So in some cases, you have eligibility if the employer has 20 or more employees. And then the other kind of tier for eligibility is at 50 or more employees. And again, this is also based on the accrual of leave. So you, under FMLA, you often have to work at least a period of 1 year before you gain access to these benefits. Now, looking at our new program, the PFL program, this is a bit of a hybrid. So it is a paid benefit, but it also works in similar cases to FMLA, where the definition of a serious health condition will often be the same. Not always, but generally pretty close, if not the same, as what you might be eligible for under FMLA. This is funded by the tax, as I indicated earlier. However, the determinations are made directly by our agency. So once you apply for leave, we receive the information and directly provide to you a notice of whether or not you're eligible. The payments also come directly from our program. So your employer, again, their responsibilities are primarily in relation to tax payments and notifications. And then again, the amount of leave varies depending on the type of leave. So between 8, 6, or 2 weeks. And again, you cannot receive more than 8 total weeks of leave for any given year. And a couple final notes here. This program is not based on the size of the employer. As long as your employer has at least 1 employee, that's a covered employer, and their employees, provided they work in the district, would be eligible for benefits potentially. There's also not an accrual requirement, so you don't have to work a certain number of hours or a certain duration in order to gain access to the benefit. However, your weekly benefit amount, your benefits, are determined based on your average weekly wage. And this looks back at wages that your employer has reported. So you're going to need to have some sort of wage history in the district in order to be eligible for a comparable wage replacement. So again, that was a very high level look at our program. I highly encourage everyone to please visit our primary website that you see here on your screen, which is dcpaidfamilyleave.dc.gov. We have quite a bit of information that's available there. I also highly recommend that you download a copy of our employee handbook. That's one of our best resources to kind of walk you through the claims process, to let you know what types of events are eligible for leave and some of the documentation that you might need to have on hand when you go to apply. Please feel free to reach out to us either by email at does.opfl@dc.gov or by phone at 202-899-3700. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Questions from commissioners? Members of the public, raise your hand on Zoom or dial *9 if you're dialing in. Commissioner Clem, yep.
Thank you. I just was curious if does this work in concert with unemployment? If you were unemployed, could you also possibly file for this if you needed it, or are they completely separate programs?
They are separate programs. Our program does include a restriction for two cases. You cannot be receiving long-term disability, and you cannot be receiving unemployment compensation. There's also a direct requirement that you be employed at the time of application in order to receive benefits under this program. So again, I wanted to reiterate, you cannot be receiving long-term disability, and you cannot be receiving unemployment compensation, and there is a direct requirement to be employed at the time of application.
And do you go to dcpaidfamilyleave.dc.gov to apply?
Yes, you can go to dcpaidfamilyleave.dc.gov, and there's a link there that takes you directly to our portal, and also at the main does.dc.gov site, there will be some information and links that get you to the portal as well.
Okay, thank you. It's a great program, and I like the urgency that you're required by law to have a determination within 10 days of application. I think that's fantastic.
Yes, and that's the maximum amount of time. We definitely shoot to get the determinations out a bit earlier if we can. We try to get them out as quickly as possible because we do understand that in many cases, some individuals may have a qualifying event that happens rather suddenly. So again, that is the maximum, but we do aim to provide the determinations much faster.
Great, great. Any other Commissioner Clem?
Thank you. Sorry, as a follow-up, you said that you had a manual that we could download that would be found on the website too. And will you be able to share this presentation with us so we can either put it on our website or share it with our constituents?
Yes. So if you go to dcpayfamilyleave.dc.gov, there is a number of different tabs that will assist you. For example, if you're an employer, there's a section with resources, and also for our larger employee or claimant population, there's a tab for workers where you can go and download the handbook. I'm very certain we can get you a copy of this presentation or one of our larger presentations as well. And if you go to the website, there's also a number of recordings of our previous webinars and some of our presentations from past sessions as well.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you again for joining and for giving that presentation, Michael. Okay, moving on to our consent agenda. We have 5 items on the consent agenda tonight, and the purpose of the consent agenda is to make it so that we can, in one fell swoop, vote on all 5 non-controversial items. They're usually organizational items, something that we do need a resolution approving it. However, it's not a controversial item. So having said that, if you ever see something on the consent agenda that you think is controversial, it's easy to take it off. All you have to do is just object. Just raise your hand, object, and a single objection means that it comes off the consent agenda, and that motion itself would have its own discussion, debate, and vote. So having said all that, I'll quickly go over the items on our consent agenda. One is the prior month's meeting minutes. Another one, the $25 that we have to pay in order to participate in the ANC Security Fund. There's a statutory requirement there. And signatories on our bank account, of course, the meeting dates, as well as the safe where we keep our checks and records. By statutory requirement, we have to list where that is, and pass a resolution. So that those are the 5 items for our consent agenda tonight. Seeing a lot of just like, let's move this along on people's faces. All those in favor?
Sorry, I have one question about the last one about the location, is whether it needs to have the apartment number. I think I remember one time when Commissioner Bowles moved, it updated the apartment number. I just wanted to confirm, since it just has my street address.
Yeah, let's
I put mine on it. I think it, I mean, if you feel comfortable doing it, I think it'd be easiest, but if not, then I think we could ask the Office of ANC, because I know that part is protected under some, you do have an option to protect yourself.
So
Yeah.
if you want to list it, let's just tell it to me now and I'll add it to the resolution.
Yeah, it's apartment 809.
Apartment 809. Okay. That friendly is accepted.
Great.
1803 Biltmore, apartment 809. All right, so any other questions about any other resolution? Seeing none, all those in favor of the 5 items on our consent agenda, please indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any against? Any abstentions? All right, that's 8-0. 1 second. So moving on to our regular agenda, we have, we shall consider a protest of air or a settlement agreement, but I'm not aware of a settlement agreement there. So Commissioner Bowles, do you want to enlighten us?
I can, yeah, certainly. So AIR is the space that is above Songbird on 18th Street. And their proper address is 2473 18th Street. The applicant has reached out, they filed a placard. They came to an ABC meeting in December 9th. And the protest deadline is January 19th. It would have been awesome to have a settlement agreement, but they owe us some information. And I also haven't gotten confirmation from either neighborhood associations as to how they would like to move forward in terms of joining us with the settlement agreement. I spoke to the attorney for the applicants, and they suggested that February was enough time for them. So this protest isn't anything to say like this is a bad applicant necessarily. This is just strictly saying that we need more time, and that's what this would provide us to do. So I fully intend on having a settlement agreement with AIR, pending the few items that I referenced. And of course, if any community members or ANC commissioners have questions about anything, I can certainly go through that as well. But essentially, I have invited them to our next ABC meeting, which is next week. I hope that they will have all of the things answered. If they do not have those things answered, then I'll need to come back to you and talk to you further about how we should move forward. But my recommendation is that we protest this due to time considerations and until the condition of a settlement agreement has been approved.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles. So the recommendation is to protest. It didn't come out of committee with the intent of reaching a settlement agreement with the establishment that we could vote out at our February meeting. So because it didn't come out of committee, I'm sorry?
I'm seconding it.
Yes, exactly. Well, we need to put it both on the agenda because there wasn't notice in the interest of not having an adverse effect on the community. So I move that we put it on the agenda. Do I have a second? I thought I heard one. I think that's what your second was, Zach, right?
Sure. Yeah, I'll second that too.
So it's now on the agenda. Now it didn't come out of committee. Commissioner Bowles has moved to protest the establishment. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Commissioner Faulkner. So any discussion?
And do any of the commissioners have questions about this? It is a very interesting process, and I hope to enlighten folks at the commission as well as community members. The ABC and ABRA, they will have an education training for ANC commissioners. I hope to also make that process much more open and transparent and on the website. Yeah, if you have any questions about the process, let me know.
Thank you. Questions from commissioners before we take some questions from members of the public? Okay. Mr. Dennis James.
Good evening, everyone. You need to cite one of the 4 grounds for protests. Can't just say, oh, because we want to get a settlement agreement. So it's disturbance of the peace, order, and quiet is one. Negative impact on pedestrian and vehicle safety is another. Impact on real estate.
Certainly. So yeah, I think Commissioner Bolt may have mentioned it. If he didn't, it is on the grounds of peace, order, and quiet.
Right. No, I was listening and I didn't hear it. He might have said it prior to that, but he didn't say it in the closing of the protest, word language. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say. Just wanted to make sure that you all, use the right terminology.
Thank you. Mr. James. Other comments or questions? Hearing none, seeing no hands raised, I will call to a vote. All those in favor of a protest of the establishment heir on the basis of peace, order, and quiet, please indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? All right. Thank you, Commissioner Bowles. Looking forward to seeing the applicant at the ABC meeting.
Yes, thank you.
So moving to PZT, a resolution on the SunTrust Plaza litigation. This had been up in front of our ANC previously, and it's been through a lot of discussion. Commissioner Gold, as chair of PZT, do you want to introduce the matter?
Yes, Mr. Chair. I move to adopt the resolution on SunTrust Plaza litigation, which came out of the PZT committee with unanimous consent, and the full text of which I'm placing in the chat right now. As this was approved in committee, it does not require a second.
Correct. Any discussion amongst commissioners before we turn it over to members of the public? Hearing none. Any hands raised? *9 if you're dialing in, or just hit raise hand.
Yes, we have one person who's raised their hand.
Where? Ah, there we go. Okay.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah, we sure can.
Will I have a chance to, I guess I wanted to hear if the ANC members were going to, I guess, discuss this further before voting, and if I'd have a chance to talk. I was on my first, I was listening to last month's call, and I was just concerned about the direction of this. It sounds like maybe perhaps the commissioners will vote. I don't know if we'll get a chance to listen to any further discussion from the commissioners on this. I just think that this is an important measure for the community, and I think that it's probably too little, too late, to be quite honest. But I think that for the benefit of the people, it's important that our ANC commissioners care about this, and do at the least put forth this resolution. And I think that whether or not it's successful and whether or not the AG takes the case up, which is unlikely since there's only so much time left, I think that just whoever the developer is, and assuming they probably want to put up expensive condos, I think it would behoove the commissioners to push for some sort of public use of that space, whether or not there's an easement, but whether or not it's using whatever political capital the ANC has. I think it's an important asset of the community, and I think like I said, if there's an easement put there and we're not successful, whether it's some sort of public resource that benefits the community, and whether it's the ANC putting forth another resolution against the developer, or however whatever mechanism the ANC can use to fight to ensure that this land, even if it's mostly some sort of luxury building, make sure that we push to make sure that there's some public aspect to this, whether or not it's technically public or not. Make sure that the people and the residents, I think, of the community benefit from it somehow is important, and it should be important to every commissioner on here.
Okay, I think I hear your comments and concerns about the importance of this site for Adams Morgan. So thank you for that. Any other hands raised? Hearing none, I'll call to a vote.
I do have some comments.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go off of that. I mean, that's a really good point. I can't speak for everyone, but I know that I spent in the last, 4 to 5 months, a lot of time on SunTrust Plaza. I met a lot of people, talked to many people about the plaza, but also just about the context of the plaza or neighborhood, which was fun. I mean, I was actually kind of shocked. I met a lot of people, not just in person, but also through phone calls, emails, et cetera, video calls, our new age of Zoom, who are longtime residents, many of whom are longtime renters, many of whom are longtime residents and or renters who have never been contacted by an ANC commissioner before and have thoughts and they have feelings about these things. And I thought that was, I was surprised, but we do what we do. We take what we have. So I think that's important because, different segments of the neighborhood, we vocalize our views in different ways. And some of those are a lot more apparent than others. So this is like a continual challenge for any ANC, basically for any local official anywhere, is how do we bridge the gap between the people who are very involved and the people who are not? And how do we essentially run a democracy? I get that. So I have some tough love I do want to share, because this is a very complex issue. Like any development issue, I know it's challenging. And just because this is my specific single member district, I think I have some obligation to comment. I'll try to keep it brief, but I do think it's important. This is a very important property for neighborhood. I think that if anything, I think it's unanimously decided throughout the neighborhood that no one likes the building, just aesthetically. The plaza is obviously a different, not only just in terms of just how we discuss it and just the aesthetics and just like cultural relevance, but also the plaza legally is a different question. It's a very complicated question that's gone through quite a bit. There are a lot of documents I'm happy to share with anyone who wants to read the legal documentation behind it. But the tough love part is I obviously haven't been involved as an ANC commissioner with this process until a few hours ago, essentially. But I still paid attention and done quite a bit of knowledge and done a lot of speaking with people who know these things and care about them. And I've noticed that if anything that is really underrepresented is how many people are very frustrated with the way the process has gone forward. And people disagree with that. There are people who don't like basically that developers have been being developers, so to speak. And there are people that don't like how—
to the resolution?
Pardon me, yeah. So there's a lot of a lot of people that see this plaza as important, but also see the situation as more complex between than just who is in favor of letting a developer do whatever they want with this property and who is willing to stand up to the developers. There's far more nuance to it. And then the people in the first group, well, maybe the first group, people in one of the subsets of those groups is people who don't want, especially out of town, but this is a bit more complicated, don't want some quote unquote luxury condo or some sort of large, hard to afford residential property to just kind of wreak havoc on an important intersection. But there's more nuance to the case. So I'm going to vote against this because I think that it's important to establish, with our new commission, that you can both be in favor of defending the historical importance of anti-racism and all of the other things that that intersection and that plaza have stood for, and also realize that we're, like one of the community input said, we're really past the point of no return in some sense, which is very unfortunate. But I think a big part of that is because a lot of the actors involved have alienated a lot of the people, some of whom are very problematic, that we need to have some sort of professional partnerships with. So it's unfortunate, and I hope that there are other avenues that can get to the position that the community wants and deserves, but I just don't think this resolution's it. But thanks for bearing with my words.
Okay, so I understand that you're going to vote against the resolution, Commissioner Wood, on the basis of could you just articulate that briefly?
I mean, I don't have to, but yeah, on the basis that I don't see this as the appropriate tool for advancing this property as the ANC in the ways that it should be.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Other comments from commissioners or members of the public? Commissioner Clem, please.
Thank you, Chair. I just wanted to go back briefly to the the point of the constituent discussion. So my understanding of this resolution, and the reason I'm voting for this resolution, is because this is one step in the process. We would like to see if we can get the easement question resolved, so that then as an ANC, without speaking for the ANC, but as an ANC, proceed with how to work with the developer to move forward on this. This is a very small step to resolve a very large question, but this is to resolve one part of a very large question. We wanted to simplify it. That was my understanding for this resolution. I believe that this resolution does simplify it. We are asking Carl Voseed to solve this question. If he doesn't intervene and he doesn't solve this question, then the judge has told us we can't move forward anyway. So I think that this resolution does that. I just wanted to clarify that for the constituent. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Clem, for that clarification. And I see we have a hand up. Eric?
I have my initials. Oh.
Eric?
Yes, hello?
Yes, go right ahead.
You can hear me? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. No, I just wanted to thank everyone's time for looking into the SunTrust Plaza matter. And just say that, from my point of view of an architect with 20 years of experience and a resident of Ontario Road for going on 17 years now, that the SunTrust Plaza site, fulfills a vital role in the urban fabric of Adams Morgan. And once it's gone, it's gone. It's not like new plazas are popping up all over the city. So everything that plaza represents and offers, once it's gone, it's not going to be replaced. And I think that is really going to hit hard to the Adams Morgan community, maybe not today or tomorrow, but it's going to be there, and it's going to be, an impact that's going to drastically change the fabric of the community. And I just want to, kind of convey that to the ANC. I know there's a lot of new members and some new members to even the neighborhood, but I mean, this has been a vital component to Adams Morgan for, going on generations now. Now, granted, the plaza is not in the best shape. It's not perfect. People don't necessarily like the SunTrust building, but these things can all potentially be improved upon. And I think there's a strong movement to do that, to improve this plaza, to make it more engaging, to soften it to a degree, and really kind of bring new life into this, as opposed to dropping 7-story condo building on it. So that's just my 2 cents there. And then I guess I was a little curious about Commissioner Wood. If he didn't think this resolution was the proper avenue, what would be? I mean, the ANC needs to take a stand and strongly come into support for this plaza, and it needs to do something. Thank you.
That's a good question. I mean, I said tool, but I mean, I would go back in time and make it so this wasn't as antagonistic of a process. I had a lot of people spoke out to me, and I really don't have names to point to or anything. I just think in general, this is a very serious concern from many diverse constituents who said they feel alienated because it seems like it was just very often attacks that often only partially resonate with what people want. Many people who devoutly love this plaza and have spent quite a bit of time and not only living on the plaza, sometimes literally. I think I'm the only person in my contest this year that actually spoke to the people who sleep on the plaza. Not that they're only people, but that's an important constituency. And like I said, it's a complex set of issues, but I can't go back into the past, but I just don't see, if the Attorney General wanted to intervene, he would have done so. And I don't, unfortunately, and maybe fortunately, ANCs don't have the power to pull the Attorney General around as we want. So like I said, it's an unfortunate state of things, but it's the reality we have at the moment.
Okay, so other comments? Commissioners? Commissioner Booth?
Yeah, I kind of want to reiterate that a little bit of, I do really appreciate all the constituents who have sent, very impassioned correspondence. I've been able to read through this. Obviously, I'm coming on very last minute to this. And I think, the resolution that we have, I think I share Peter's concern that it doesn't do as much as we want it to do to address it. But I do kind of feel that we've been painted into a corner from strategies that were started many years ago. And we're kind of at that conclusion. And I support this resolution because I think this is the most effective way that we can address it at this point. I think, unfortunately, those choices were made well before we had a chance to weigh in on it, before this resolution came before this, and that previous ANCs, didn't really address fully. So I definitely understand, the disappointment I think that some of our constituents may have with what we're doing, and it may feel as if it is a little too late. But I think it's more of a case of the circumstance, in my opinion, than it is us not taking any action that really wouldn't be effective.
Thank you, Commissioner Roots. And I want to say that I'm impressed and I'm happy with the amount of collaboration and collegial work that went into this resolution to bring it to the state that it's in right now amongst our commissioners. And it has been on our website for some time now and went through committee. And there was a lot of different viewpoints and comments that went around. And I think it was very impressive to get a group of 8 people together that have never worked together before on anything. Well, 7 people. Commissioner Bowles and I have. But I thought it was just an impressive piece of work and impressive collaboration. So thank you all. Seeing Commissioner Faulkner, I see you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just wanted to say one thing quickly because I share some concerns about sort of, we have been a little bit painted into the corner with the lawsuit and the timeline on that. And I just wanted to share, I think, what both Fiona and Ben said, that this is sort of just one step in the process. And I hope the resolution does reference a library. I think all of us, I believe, would love to see a library in Adams Morgan, whether, at that location or another place. I also have heard from a lot of constituents and folks in the neighborhood in support of housing in general as well. And so while I want to say that this mentions a library because the ANC has previously done a resolution on the library, I think that is not, we are not closing the door on other ways to use the plaza and to use that site in ways that benefit the community. And I know this is very important to a lot of people. And so, I think we all take that very seriously. And so I just wanted to say that I think this is just one step and that it doesn't close the door on what that could possibly be there, because I think we want that, all of us want that site to serve the community as well as possible.
Thank you, Commissioner Faulkner. Important point. And also, I think we do want this easement question resolved, and we want to get to a point where we can quickly, with some kind of urgency, resolve this question. So, Commissioner Bowles.
Yeah, so I just wanted to go and say how I'll be explaining my vote. I will be voting no again. No. I do commend the commissioners, for adding all of their input. But I think the real concern here, like, what is this resolution? Who is going to be using this resolution, and what will it be used for? And to me, I think that is folks who are suing, and they want to do this to extend and delay. And when I look at the priorities for the neighborhood, housing is a huge priority. And although these may be luxury units. There is a legal obligation to have inclusionary zoning units. And I am in full support of the council and the mayor increasing that percentage and have been vocal in doing so. But that will add affordable units in Adams Morgan. Additionally, we need to have real conversations if we want to keep this market in Adams Morgan, because the resistance and the reality is that this space could, in very real terms, very shortly move this space and the market can no longer be there. The reason why I'm not voting, or one of the reasons why I'm not voting in favor of this, is because I want to address that solution. I want us to start beginning conversations with whomever and whoever we need to talk to ensure that we still have a farmer's market. And then to the next aspect, I think that if we asking the Attorney General Carl Racine to get involved could further delay. And he is aware, there's no way he's not aware of this. If he didn't join already, he's not going to join. But just even indicating and stating that the loudest voices in the room actually want, the people to move forward with this, I just don't think that's what my residents would want. So I appreciate everyone working on this resolution, and I look forward to working with folks in the future to determine what we're going to do with the farmers market, and if we're going to be able to continue to have one in Adams Morgan, and B, if there is development there, what it is going to look like and how many inclusionary zoning units will be there. And if there's any way we can get more out of that. So thank you for your time. I appreciate you, Zach and Amir, for continuing this conversation.
Thank you, Commissioner Bowles.
Can I just add really quick? You reminded me of something. So just one point that's important. I know I think a lot's important, but I think it was in the December meeting, there was kind of this passive almost threat saying, well, if we don't get something going, this is going to go for a while. That claim was made because it's implication that there's going to be endless appeals, which are voluntary. And just to be brief, I'm not interested in, I don't want my vote to go towards something that can basically be supporting that.
Okay. So do we have other comments from commissioners? All right. I do think that the resolution, the actions are for a prompt resolution of the easement case. And I think that's something we're all in favor of. And it's important for the community at what is the intersection of our two main streets, Columbia and 18th Street. And the request is that, just to be clear, is for the Attorney General to make a formal determination as to whether to take up the case or not, which I haven't seen a formal determination made. I'd like to call to a vote. It did come out of committee. Commissioner Clem, you have your hand up?
There were two hands raised by attendees. I'm sorry, but I don't see them.
Okay.
Yeah, just Alan Roth had his hand up. I think he hadn't spoke yet. So if you just want to hear him.
Oh yeah, I didn't. Yeah. Well, thanks. Alan, go right ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I was just going to make this brief observation, which it's a good resolution. I was just going to say that one of the other attendees made the observation that there's a very short period of time between tonight and the date in the resolution that apparently the judge ordered the parties to appear, and that includes a weekend. And so the likelihood of even if the ANC were to communicate with the Attorney General's office tomorrow, the likelihood of getting the Attorney General to make that decision or determination by next Tuesday is just a big question mark. And the only observation I was going to make was that if the ANC is unable to get that determination made by next, let's say on Monday, you know, the plaintiffs in the case do have the option of asking the judge to at least postpone his decision on Tuesday for a short period of time to give the Attorney General's office some period of time to give the ANC's request the great weight that it deserves. And it doesn't have to be an extended period of time, but they can ask the judge to ask the Attorney General to make that determination based upon the law that requires the Attorney General to give the ANC its great weight. So that was all I was going to say.
Thanks, Alan. I think that is helpful in that it does give a little bit more time, that the resolution could afford people time. I'd like to, do we have anyone else that hasn't spoken? All right. I'd like to call to a vote. All those in favor of the—
There's a community hand up.
I see that all the hands that are up have already spoken. So I'll call to a vote. All those in favor of the resolution as indicated or as discussed, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Can I move to roll call?
Sure. So we'll start on, we'll start with myself. We'll start at 0-1 this time instead of going over to you, Commissioner Clem. So I'm in favor of the resolution. Commissioner Carano?
Also in favor.
Commissioner Faulkner?
Aye.
Commissioner Gold?
Aye.
Commissioner Boots?
Aye.
Commissioner Clem? I'm
Aye.
sorry, Commissioner Gold.
Yeah, I know. I was going to say that's a
nay.
Okay, and Commissioner Clem?
aye.
Okay. 6-2 with 0 abstentions. The motion passes, the resolution passes 6-2. Moving on to the next item on our agenda. Do we have anyone from 2412 18th Street rear on the call? I see a hand up, Justin. Okay, let's get you to panelist. So this is actually Commissioner Gold. Would you like to introduce the matter?
Sure. I would greatly appreciate the chair's assistance as we go forward, as you oversaw this as prior chair of the
Happy
committee.
to.
But I move that the chair, that we adopt a resolution that or what is the process here?
A letter of support to HPRB.
So I move that we vote to send a letter of support to HPRB.
Chair, a letter of support.
Chair, in support of the designs for a commissary kitchen. The designs are, I'll put them in the chat box if there is no one here. And as noted earlier, this recommendation for the chair to send a letter came out of committee unanimously. And I'm sorry, Mr. Chair, if the presenters are here in the meeting or not, I don't know.
They are, yes. So Justin Mack is there. It did come out of committee, as you noted, Commissioner Gold. Justin, do you just want to give a brief overview of what you're doing at 2412 18th Street in that alley structure, and then the historic implications? Very brief.
So just so we're all familiar with kind of where the space is, it's the alley building kind of between Columbia and.
Could you speak up a bit?
Oh, yep. Can you hear me
There
now?
we go. Yep, can hear you.
All right. So it's the alley building that we're looking at back here. The historical perspective of this is that it's considered one of the first parking garages used by the Secret Service in the 1930s. The building was originally built around 1900, had an addition done about 1910. We were working with staff to upgrade the building. The building itself actually is not in great shape. If I can get to, sorry. That far. There we go. The building itself is actually not in that great a shape. Hasn't been taken care of over the years. A lot of the windows and doors do not actually function. A couple windows are actually missing. Various colors of paint. The brick itself is actually, there's areas where it's crumbling, needs to be retuck pointed and repaired. In working with the historic board, we needed to address one of the main issues is the roof. The roof itself actually has fire damage inside on the one end of the building, and it's severely under-designed based on current code, and is actually very concerned with that. Based on our new use, we actually need to put a new roof on it, and then because of it being a commissary kitchen, we do have some rooftop units that we were looking to replace, actually put on the roof, and working with the historic board, they were concerned with, they don't want to lose the historic perspective of the kind of gabled end roof. And so we worked with them on the concept of how do we open the roof, but yet keep it, historically, kind of present, if you will. So the idea is that we're actually going to open the roof, put a brand new roof on it, but then we're going to have a partial sloped up roof that would cover all the units so you can't see any of them, extend up some beams and a ridge beam so that you would get the kind of the perspective of that it's still a gable. The historic board staff, their main concern was this end piece because it is somewhat of a unique gable end that they wanted to maintain. So we worked with them to kind of come up with what the best design would be for that. In the end, this is what we're presenting is basically repair the building, paint the brick, replace all the windows and doors, replace the roof in its entirety, open it up, but yet still give that gable perspective. Standing seam metal roofing that's there now will be very similar to that. And so that's kind of that angle. This gives you kind of the idea of what was there. The top one is the existing exterior elevation. The bottom is the proposed new. On the end, like I said, it was very important to staff to maintain this gable look. So we've done that, replacing doors, windows, painting, repairing the building. This is kind of the gable end view, the existing versus new. You can see where the open structure is shown. And then this actually faces back towards the 18th Street, which is behind the other buildings. It's actually a 1.5 story at that level. But again, you can see the open structure, but yet, reminiscent of the gable, and then new windows. So this is what it currently sits at. This is what we would propose. And then coming up the alley from 18th, the building sits here. And then this is, did the best we could to mimic that same view for you guys so you can see what that would look like. And then these are just a palette of finishes and things that the historic board had requested. So I think that's the idea, the intent behind it.
Okay. Pretty good looking building. Definitely a huge improvement over what's there. And a commissary kitchen seems to make a lot of sense in terms of a business model. So questions from commissioners?
What was the time frame for the reconstruction and then the kitchen to actually open?
I mean, we're still working through a bunch of parts and pieces of that. I don't actually have the time frame for that. We are trying to move as fast as we can. But the idea would be is that construction would start this year, but we do have utilities that need to be upgraded, and we're still working through, with the gas and the water, as to what the timing of that would be. But the plan would be for this to be open by the end of the year.
Great. I just want to say welcome to the neighborhood. Commercial kitchens are asked for by the DC government. There's so many reasons to have them. I could see myself using this. My partner, he makes a ton of bread. Welcome to the neighborhood. I hope that you participate actively and are a part of the bid and participate actively within the bid too. So the only other thing I would say is that's a very busy alley. I'm sure you've noticed. So I'm sure going to have folks that are going to want to be wanting to know whenever there is construction, just to relay that construction to the neighbors as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. Part of we'll be doing a traffic control plan with DDOT and all of that. So, and then obviously we want to be good partners with you neighbors. So we'll make sure that things are communicated as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Other questions?
So thanks and welcome as well. I've talked to Chuck a bit myself, but just so it's in the public's purview. Just besides construction, the three main concerns from the neighbors that I've been able to speak to, which are pretty common: trash, sound, light. What are the plans to make sure that those are contained?
So from a sound perspective, actually one of the benefits of, from any rooftop units or anything like that is that, because it is contained, but yet it's all up blast, is that the sound should help transfer up. We don't anticipate any more sound than the restaurants that are producing along 18th Street right in front of us. As far as trash pickup goes, we understand the concerns. We actually engage with Eco Lab to help with like rats and things like that, because I know that's a concern in the trash for the area. And we'll follow every health code, necessity or trash pickup that we are required to follow. None of that does our business any good either. So we want to make sure that we're good there. And what was the other? Oh, the light
and lighting, signage. I mean, I know it's just a typical historic preservation question, but I was just curious.
Yeah, so the signage is going to be somewhat minimalist. The lighting that we have shown are just a couple. I mean, you can see them here on this screen. There's like three above our, the kind of the main entry. They're all downlit. There's not intended to be a ton of lighting around the building at all. So.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Great. So, any other questions? This did come out of committee unanimously in favor of a letter of support to HPRB. So I move that we call to a vote. All those in favor of a letter of support for this project, please indicate so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? All right. Thanks for joining, Justin. We really look forward to having this, and I think you're going to get a lot of business out of this.
Great. Thank you all.
Okay. Moving right along our agenda for the night. The last item a resolution authorizing the creation of a Google Workspace account for ANC1C. This is listed under PSE, but it didn't actually come out of PSE. What had occurred to me was, and normally I would introduce the chair of PSE to provide an introduction to the resolution, but given that we haven't actually discussed this, I think I'll be best suited. So what had occurred to me this term and probably in prior years was that we all use Google Drive for storing our documents, for providing links on our website, for disseminating information to the community, and to also collaborate on these resolutions and notices and things. However, these Google Drive accounts are tied to each individual. So as soon as, for instance, if I were to not be on the commission again because I were to resign or maybe not run next time, then the documents that I would have contributed would be owned by me, and they could be taken from the public record. So the reason why I'm authorizing, and it could happen with anyone, and I bring up myself specifically because I've been on the commission since 2016, and I think that we would be doing the public a disservice if those things were lost. So the reason why I want to have an ANC1C Google Workspace account is so that we can have one login where we can store these things, and it's not tied to any individual's Google account. The cost of this is $50 per year. So any discussion? Commissioner Bowles.
I would just say, I hope there's not much more discussion. This could easily fall within the budget that we prepared last year. But I think to Amir's point, this is also just to put on record that the Office of ANC needs to support ANCs like this, and they don't provide any baseline support for things like this. And it is a nightmare for a whole entire new commission to not have information. Yeah, so thanks so much, and I support this.
Thank you. Commissioner Corona?
Just a quick question for you and Commissioner Bowles. I assume using OneDrive hasn't worked in the past. The accounts linked through our ANC email accounts.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe I just speak for myself and the people I work with, but I find that particular Microsoft product to be a little bit more frustrating.
I would say my personal experience that the Outlook is the absolute worst facilitating, functioning, maintaining, organizing, emailing tool that the government could provide us.
So yeah, a lot more colorful than a little more frustrating, but I feel that sentiment. Commissioner Gold?
Yes, I just wanted to say the only question I had about this was what the drive we currently use is. So thank you for in your comments answering that it's yours. So that's helpful in understanding what we've been doing up till now, and I'm on board with having something that can be a permanent record for this ANC, and that can be collated and organized in a way that future ANCs and future commissioners can use properly.
Yeah, absolutely. So I see that there's a hand up, but I don't know.
I think that opens it up for a few questions now. Simply
Okay.
from this.
Is there a question to this resolution authorizing Google Workspace account?
No, it's not a question. I'm just listening. I don't even really know. It sounds like it's. I at first I thought it was a way to really connect with the community, but that's kind of just what I wanted to mention. I think I've heard Peter talk a couple times about, he's been in touch with constituents. And I think, that's important. I just started listening to these and I like it. I think that the ANC can be more visible within the community and, actually make an effort to, reach out to the public and just let the public know that you're here and, that we have these meetings, that the public can be a part of the decisions that are made, on their behalf. So I think that, just there could be more of an effort to be more visible in the community, whether it's posting signs, for the ANC meetings, just encouraging people to engage more and participate in this process. I'm sure the pandemic doesn't help, and you all have to be on Zoom doesn't help. I'm sure it's probably in-person meetings normally, but I think I would encourage or hope that ANC commissioners or commissioners could do a little bit more to be visible and really reach out to the constituents.
Absolutely. I think we all take the point that you're making about communication very seriously, and this is right in line with that. So thank you for your comment. Other comments? Hearing none. This needs to first be put on the agenda because it didn't have proper notice, and I don't. It's not in the adverse. It doesn't have an adverse impact on the community, and I'd argue that it would actually have, if we didn't take action, it would have an adverse impact on the community because this is a matter of continuity of records and documents, etc. So, do I have a second to put this on the agenda?
Second.
Great. All those in favor of putting the resolution on the agenda, please indicate so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any against? Any abstentions? Okay, so we're on. Hearing no other comments or concerns, I'd like to call to a vote. All those in favor of the resolution authorizing an ANC 1C Google Workspace account, please indicate so by saying aye.
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 Any against? Any abstentions? All right. That is 8-0. So that's the final matter for tonight. Yay. Our first ANC 1C meeting together. So thank you, commissioners. I know that it's a difficult time today with everything that's going on and everything that's happening at the Capitol and in our nation and in the city, that to say the least, everyone is preoccupied. And I appreciate that you all could be here and that we could work together so well. And I appreciate members of the public too for joining. So.
Yeah, thanks everyone.
A peaceful transition of power. It's nice to show a good example of that.
Bye everyone.